Hey everybody, and welcome to Godless Weekly. This is insane exclusive. Wanted to give you a rundown of what's going on at Godless, and I also wanted to talk about the importance of exclusives. When I was in college, I was between getting two different consoles, video game consoles. And one was the Sega Genesis, which had Altered Beast as an exclusive, and it was an awesome game. And the other one was the TurboGrafx 16. And I ended up choosing originally the TurboGrafx 16 because it had an exclusive title on it called Splatterhouse. And if you guys are not familiar with this title, when it originally came out, it was a very controversial game where you played as this guy who was like stuck in this mansion, and he had this, Jason Voorhees type mask on. He'd go around and he'd swat people and, hit him with a hacksaw and a shotgun and stuff. And it was a big deal. And as a horror fan at the time, that was like, okay, this is the console that I want. So I bought the TurboGrafx and I played Splatterhouse for a long time. Bitchin' game, not super long, but super gory and bloody and cool for the time. Absolutely, there's nothing like it really out. There's no real horror games at the time. And you can only get it on this console called the TurboGrafx 16 by NEC. And then about a year later, another big game came out on the Genesis, and it was called Sonic the Hedgehog. And everyone would sit around and do drugs and watch this game, and like the next week after I saw that game, I immediately went out and bought the Genesis. So I know that's kind of a confusing way to explain exclusives, but I'll get further into it in this episode. And this is Godless Weekly, and welcome. Welcome to Insane Exclusive Week. I'm going to be dropping a lot of exclusives this week on Godless.com, and a bunch of authors are participating in this. And we're also highlighting some emerging and new authors that are also giving exclusives to the platform. And we got some big releases. And I'm going to kind of go off on a rant here, and I don't mean to, and I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, and I'm not talking shit to anyone. I just want you guys to realize something about the importance of exclusives in the platform and the exclusives on any platform. So the reason I used that TurboGrafx 16 example was I bought that for one game. I bought that console for one game. I think at the time it was like $299, which was pretty expensive for a console. Maybe it was $249, maybe $199, I don't remember. But I bought it exclusively for Splatterhouse. And then, a year later, Genesis drops this awesome game, Sonic the Hedgehog, for the first time. Everyone's like, fuck, dude, this is like the anti-freaking Nintendo game. So, I had to buy that too. So my point being is, if you release an exclusive on a platform, like if you were to release something exclusively on KDP Select, you're going into that under the assumption that your audience is going to be there and that you're going to get that promoted in a certain way that's going to really boost your sales and boost your visibility within the horror community. Now, we all kind of know that that's not really the way it works. And I'm not saying that dropping an exclusive on Godless is your surefire way to become an overnight star, because that's not the fucking truth either, and we all know that, right? You gotta fucking work your ass off. And my author this week, my featured author, is a true example of someone who's worked his fucking ass off every day as an author to make a name for himself and to build this really fucking dedicated audience. Before I get really deep into that and really talk about the guys this week who are participating in Insane Exclusive Week, I wanted to point out the people who are finding success through Godless as exclusive partners and exclusive authors who are dropping exclusive titles. Someone like Rain Havoc has dropped this 50-cent book. It's pretty short, but it stands out from all the other books on the site because it's very unique, right? It's topical and it's got a pink cover. So it's not like really anything that's in horror right now, and especially this kind of new extreme, renaissance that people are talking about. She's finding success because she has a very devoted fan base who will read no matter what she puts out because it's awesome, but also because she shows loyalty back to her customers. And she dropped this exclusive with me, and it blew up, right? And on the same token, someone like Simon McHardy or Daniel Volpe, or BJ Swan, or Kevin Sweeney. They drop these exclusives, they price them right, they price them to their audience, and they aim directly at their core audience. And that's important for you guys to think about, okay? I know that releasing only ebooks and audiobooks seems kind of lame, but you have to kind of think about the audience, this new audience, in a different way. They are used to YouTube content, whereas where they consume most of the stuff they watch entertainment-wise, and they're used to microtransactions, which are like, a level on Candy Crush, or an outfit on Fortnite. These are the things that appeal to them because at first glance, they come off as super cheap. Oh, 99 cents for 5 more lives? Sure, I'll do that. So it's 99 cents. It's like spending nothing, and it goes directly to your phone. So microtransactions, short fiction, and things that are appealing and outside the norm and about rebellion, that's what people are responding to right now. And I think that you have to think in terms of that before you, decide to release something, or release something on Godless, or release something on Amazon. You have to think of your audience first in this. Here is the hardcover book of my first novel, Godless, that came out on 6/6/6, June 6, 2006. Look at that fucking scumbag. And here is the hardcover book for Knuckle Supper that came out in 2010, the end of 2010, 2011. Okay, these were both published by a publisher in Australia, and the printing cost on this was out fucking outrageous. I'm going to tell you guys, even though that this was a pretty critically acclaimed book, and it got reviewed by Fangoria and essentially everywhere to favorable reviews, of course, it didn't make me one fucking penny. That's not one fucking penny, dude. And you need to think about that, because if you're writing and you want to write for a living, you need to make fucking money. And ebooks and digital distribution is a way for you to make money. And releasing them exclusively on a platform like Godless is a way for you to make money, because you're gonna make 90% royalties, right? God, this is like a fucking business pitch, and I'm sorry, but I just need to get this shit off my chest, because we really need to start thinking as a collective community about things like this, because we need to give them what they want, which is cheap, short, and now. And I'm not telling you that I want you to release all your books exclusively as ebooks on Godless, but it's something to think about. If you think about windowing and actually putting your book out a week, 2 weeks, a month before it comes out on Amazon, and fucking raking a bunch of cash that way to your established audience, and then build your audience around the community that's already going to Godless to buy different things. I think I've got a bunch of people roped in now to come back every month to buy the next Scumbag book, because they're fucking 50 cents, dude. In and out. They know they're gonna get it, they know what they're getting, and we're already establishing an audience, and you need that core audience. But I don't wanna rip on anyone for making hardbacks and shit, because that's asshole-ish of me. Everyone wants a fucking printed book. Everyone wants to be able to look at someone and say, yo, dude, I fucking wrote this book. I wrote this hardcover book. You can read this. You can give it to you right now. And then charge them like fucking 20 bucks for it, dude. Whereas they can go on an ebook site like Godless and buy the same book. Godless, the book, is $1.99, and Knuckle Supper is $2.99. So it's just something to think about, you guys. I know everyone loves to have like these hardcover and, physical books. It feels like you're a part of something, and they're loyalists, and everyone likes to read a book. Everyone likes to have a book in their hands. People don't necessarily like to read off their phone or off their tablet. But another way to think about it is, if you do ebooks and you release it like a week or two early before you release the print edition, people will buy the ebook first and then go back and buy the print book too, because then they've already read the book and they can keep that copy for whenever fucking conventions open back up and you can sign them for them, right? Does this make sense? I'm being a fucking asshole and I'm being a fuddy-duddy, and I know that, and I don't fucking mean to. I'm just trying to explain to you the power of exclusivity, The power of exclusivity drove me to the TurboGrafx 16 platform because they had a horror game with a guy that looked like Jason Voorhees in it. And it's like, fuck, dude, what other platform am I gonna buy? Super Nofrendo wasn't even out yet, right? Think about this. Spend some time, think about it. It's about windowing, it's about grabbing your audience and bringing them to where you are. It's not about giving them what they want on their terms. We're all gonna continue to do print books. Why not do ebooks a little bit in advance and window it and then release it so people can fucking have it immediately? Our featured author this week on Godless is none other than Armand Rosamilia. He is insane. I can't believe this dude gave me 2 exclusives to drop this coming week, Thursday at noon. They are a book called Toolshed and another one called Death Metal, and they are fucking great. Everything this dude does is great. And when I explained all my fucking pissy fucking, ebook versus hardcover and paperback and shit, he comes to mind because he works on his writing. And he also earns every single fucking person who reads his books, right? And he's got tons of devoted fans. They fucking love him. I love him. I can't believe he sent me a fucking email. It was a total, it was just a privilege and a shock. So he didn't go into this thinking as an author, yeah, man, I'm gonna print out some hardcovers of this one book that I released and become a fucking overnight star. I need to build. And he's also got this fucking huge podcast network. So he thinks about marketing to his audience constantly and how he can get to them. And that's one of the reasons why he's the featured author this week. Secondly, is because he is dropping these 2 awesome exclusives, Death Metal and Toolshed, both available on Thursday. And he is just the workhorse of the industry. In my opinion, the most respected motherfucker in this industry because of the way he approaches things. He's the kind of person that we should all look up to, take lessons from. I'm trying to absorb as much of him as I can. And when I'm going to be in his podcast later this week, I think, and I can't wait to talk to him and Chuck Buddha about this. It's like, not only do I want to ask him, how do you do it, dude? How do you do it? But I also want to know, how do you keep the consistency and quality of your titles to where they are and where they always will be? Because that's a tough fucking ask. But you know what? People who are loyalists in his fan audiences know this is the truth. They know what's up with Armand, man, because he's fucking great. He knows his shit. He is awesome. Follow by example. He's a huge author. He's releasing 2 exclusives on Godless. That's a big deal to me. That's a big deal to his fans. Think about that. These are ebook only, okay? He doesn't go into this thinking, I'm gonna fucking write some 50-page book and turn it into a hardcover, man. It's illogical because you can't make money. You need to think of you being an author as a business. There's a part of it, a huge part of it, that's obviously about your creativity and expressing your voice and getting through the horror community and becoming a part of something. But there's also this other part, and it's where we all want to be, right? It's being an author full-time. When it becomes a full-time job, then you got to be on it every day. And that is much more in the long run than writing one book and saying, here's a hardcover. I'm the perfect person to fucking set an example against this, dude. I write so few books, and when I release them, I want them in fucking print because I don't think the same way as the modern consumer, right? You want it. You want to be an author. You want to have a book. I want to have a book in my hand. I want to go around to my friends and say, look at my fucking book. The buzz book this week is Ghetto Super Skank by Dani Brown. For those of you who don't know Dani fucking Brown, dude, she is the queen of filth. She sent me a pitch for fucking Scumbags Burning in Hell, and I approved it in 2 fucking seconds for the 9th book because she is so on point. She knows what she's doing. I sincerely recommend you pick up this book. If there was ever a book that would kind of duplicate the kind of offbeat success of something like Mukbang Princess, This is it. Ghetto Super Skank is a serious contender for my favorite horror comedy, fucking just mind-bendingly strange book of the year. Continuing the downer Drew's a fucking bitch episode is our emerging author, and it is my boy Kevin fucking Sweeney. I love this kid. I love his writing. He's got this very strange artistic sense, and he's never afraid to laugh at himself. And the best thing about him is that his sense of humor really transcends his work, and it goes into it to a certain degree. When we were talking about his book Lusty, and it being banned from all these different platforms, namely KDP, because of the bloody banana on the cover, we were all making jokes about it. And his joke back to me was, it's funny because I actually have a picture of my actual dick on the cover of a book, and that thing didn't get fucking banned. Kevin Sweeney's exclusive new titles this week. One is called The Garden Gnome, and the other is called Microwave. Man, this dude, the Sweeners, we love him. Our featured publisher this week is Weird Punk. They are a publishing house out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they have got a staple of the totally most diverse and unique writers in horror today. They've just released an exclusive title through us called She Who Rules the Dead, and is by a girl named Maria Abrams. I think you should pick this up because it is super, everything they do is just, you can read it and you're like, oh shit, this is Weird Punk. That's how cool this is. That's how cool what they do is. Also, an exclusive announcement this week is the latest title by Simon McHardy, and it is not the dildo book. This is something brand new. It is also an animal book, like Pitbull. And I cannot wait for you guys to see this cover, man. It's gonna blow your fucking mind. Simon's exclusives, as we know, are kind of the anchor of where Godless is right now. And as much as we appreciate him, I'm sure his readers and his fans appreciate him more because he's dropping a lot of high quality books on Godless. Speaking of Simon, starting this week, there will be a price reduction on Gob and Knob, which was a release day success for Godless. Keep your eyes open. Should happen, should have already happened, but I'll keep you posted. Also, finally making his way over to the Godless platform and a new member of the family is Roland Bursey Jr. This guy, if you haven't read Unbortion yet, read it. I also really wanted to welcome publisher Death's Head Press, as well as Patrick C. Harrison III to Godless, and because they just recently became full members of the Godless family. So welcome to the cult, you guys. Been waiting for you, and we're glad you guys are coming out strong. They've got releases that are dropping. We're gonna drip drop them so they come out in a way that you guys can deal with them and pick them all up. Gotta get all that shit like Pokemon. Look, I wanna kind of apologize before I sign out and kind of say that I don't want you to think that I'm criticizing anyone or for the way that they're doing things. You have become a horror author because you love to write. You become a horror author because you want your voice to be heard. And any way you want to do that is the right way. I'm just telling you, for right now, and how the audience is working, if you window your content through Godless and you deliver it like even a week or a day early, you're gonna start seeing profits. And I think that to some point is important to keeping authors alive and well and above water, okay? I love all the authors. I love all you publishers. I love the fans. I love the readers. I love the hype horde. Everyone, keep chugging along, man. Can't believe we've been doing this a month already. It's fucking been great. And we're learning a lot of lessons. And we're learning a lot about the horror consumer. And we're learning a lot about the new horror community and stuff that's emerging from the ground up and changing the way that we do things, right? Stick with it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you sticking with me. And I appreciate you sticking with the platform.